There are places that call to you, and places that refuse to be tamed, and places where the earth still belongs to the wild. In this series, we're going back to Uganda. The Pearl of Africa. The morning starts nice and steady. The bikes are lined up in the hills above Kampala. Nobody's awake yet, except these monkeys. This morning we're heading north out of Kampala, bright and early. But as you can see, even waking up at 4 AM, it's still pretty bad. From the chaos of Kampala to the wild heart of the continent, an incredible adventure awaits. Stay tuned, it's going to be one hell of a ride. Fighting your way through Kampala traffic can be daunting, especially for first-timers to the country. That's why we always have a lead guide at the front and a sweeper at the rear, just in case anybody takes a wrong turn. Once you've made it through Kampala, you're greeted by the open countryside. It's quite amazing how this busy, bustling metropolis quickly turns into open fields, banana plantations and tea plantations, with rural villages right by the side of the road, herding cattle down the main highway, and everybody just busily going about their everyday life. One thing that's not unique to Uganda is police checkpoints. They're everywhere in this country. On the way into villages, on the way out of villages, sometimes on a random spot on a dirt road. You can't escape them. But it does give you a little bit more confidence, knowing that everything's getting checked out along the way. Leaving the tarmac behind, we turn off towards Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary and onto the dirt tracks that would guide us deeper into rural Uganda. And there it was, Uganda's famous red dirt. The kind that gets absolutely everywhere, on your boots, on your bike, in your luggage, in your riding gear, and somehow in places that defy all laws of physics. At the end of the trip, we'd all be taking a little bit of Uganda home with us. As the miles roll by, the pace of life seems to slow. Children wave from the roadside, a theme that continues throughout our trip. Farmers working small plots of land, livestock wandering freely. In a world that seems to move faster every year, there's something refreshing about places like this. A reminder that happiness isn't always found in bigger, faster, or newer. Sometimes it's found in community, hard work, family, and a connection to the land that has endured for generations. For many of us, this is more than just another road. It's a glimpse into a completely different way of life.
Oh, the zebra's on the right hand side.
Our first major activity of the tour has finally arrived, and the excitement among the group was impossible to miss. After arriving at Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary, we met our ranger for a short briefing before setting off on foot into the bush. There was a real sense of anticipation in the air. For many of our guests, this would be their very first time seeing wild rhinos on foot. Thankfully, we didn't have to walk far. Before long, we came across our first group of rhinos quietly grazing and completely at ease in their natural surroundings. For a moment, we were simply guests in their world. Watching these incredible animals up close was a truly humbling experience, and a reminder of just how special Uganda's wildlife is. Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary plays a vital role in rhino conservation. Established in 2005, it is the only place in Uganda where wild rhinos can be seen today. The sanctuary was created to help reintroduce southern white rhinos after the species was driven to extinction in Uganda due to poaching and civil unrest. What began with just a handful of rhinos has grown into a thriving population, giving hope that one day rhinos may once again roam Uganda's national parks. For our guests, it was the perfect start to the adventure, and with many more incredible experiences still to come, the excitement for the days ahead was only just beginning. The day started early, really early. At 5 AM, while most people would happily still be asleep, our guests were climbing into the safari vehicles for their first game drive of the tour. And as it turned out, the early start was about to pay off. We'd only been in the park for a short while when Alan, one of our guests, spotted something up in the trees. And at first, nobody could quite believe it.
See him? Pop the tree there. Leopard.
I see him beside it.
You see him?
You see it, Rich? Good spot that, wasn't it?
I can't see him.
He's over to the right now.
Down there. You see his face?
Yeah, there he is.
Just down here, look.
Wow.
Just to the left is.
There he is.
Spot three.
There he is. Wow.
Alan spotted him in tree and then.
To be honest, after seeing a leopard so early in the morning, we already felt like we won the lottery, and anything else we saw from this point was just a bonus. So we carried on deeper into the park to see what else Uganda had in store for us.
So we've just finished the game ride safari through Murchison Falls. We saw a leopard, 4 of the big 5 actually, and so now we are just stopping for some breakfast here. I guess we're using the loo, having some food, and then we're going to get back on the road back to the hotel and the lodge for the ride up to Murchison Falls a little bit later on today. So yeah, we saw some really cool animals. It was a great ride, and now we've got this beautiful view.
Hi guys, Mark from African Motor Adventures again. We are now at the side of Lake Albert. Across there in the distance you can see the DRC. We've just stopped for a spot of breakfast before we carry on with our safari, and next stop will be Murchison Falls, the top of the falls.
Day 2 here at Murchison Falls. I don't know if you can hear me over the absolute roar of the falls that are behind me. What an epic ride. The falls are really full right now because Uganda is just coming out of the rainy season, and it's very loud, so hopefully you can hear some audio. The guests had an incredible game ride this morning. Saw a leopard, saw basically 4 of the top 5, so big 5, so really exciting. We drove back, we had some lunch, we chilled out, and we've just done a half an hour ride to the falls to come and get some cool spray. You can see the guests up there behind me. They're just here on that ridgeline, enjoying some of the water kickback that this fall has to offer. Another incredible day here in Uganda. We're almost at the end of day 2 of the Pearl of Africa tour. I'm gonna go and get some spray.
Looking back, it's hard to believe how much we'd packed into a single day. We'd started before sunrise, dragged everyone out of bed at a completely unreasonable hour, and somehow managed to find a leopard before most people had even had their first coffee. Not a bad start. From there, the day just kept delivering. Incredible wildlife, endless views across the park, and of course, the sheer power of Murchison Falls. No matter how many times you visit, standing there watching the Nile squeeze through that narrow gap never gets old. As we headed back towards the lodge, we got one final reminder of why travel in Africa is about so much more than the wildlife. A group of local kids spotted us passing through and came running over to say hello. We stopped for a chat, handed out a few sweeties, and judging by the smiles, I think they were almost as happy to see us as we them. Almost. Tomorrow we point the bikes towards Fort Portal and another new chapter of the adventure. But for now, the helmets are off, the beers are cold, and after a day like today, I don't think anyone needs much convincing to sit back, relax, and enjoy another African sunset.
These are the intrepid travellers, all ready for the adventure. We're about to ride through a small village. You'll see some locals, they're waving and cheering, really happy to see us. And then from there we're going to go to Fort Portal. We'll go to the top of the world, the hotel that I spoke about earlier, and it's going to be an epic ride. You're coming along with us. This is Debbie. This is the girl from America. 65 years old, rocking it for the women. I know she's doing stuff that she's not comfortable with, but never complains, gets on with it, is an awesome rider. Been a real pleasure to meet her. Hi kids! Hi! This road is typical of the tracks that we ride to the lodges. Very, very easy in dry season. A little bit more sketchy if we're in the rainy season and the roads are flooded. But as you can see, these guys are really happy to see us. This is a local village, and again, really happy to see us. We try to support the villages. We bring sweets and stuff And there's Samara, the female guide. She's filming everybody coming down the track. Hi Sam. So Samara's going to lead the female-only tours. The next tour's in November. If you're a girl, you want adventure, get on board, get that booked. You won't regret it. Here we have Sam coming down on my right hand side. Hi Sam. Again, she's our local female. Well, she's not local, she's actually from the UK, but she's our female guide. I'm a bit biased, but she's my favourite guide because she's my daughter. It is a family business. My boys, well, all my kids now are part of African Motor Adventures. Lots of cloud today, this morning, which is a bit of a welcome break. It's been so hot. But the next place we're visiting is up in the mountains. A lovely place overlooking the Crater Lakes. Look at these kids, aren't they amazing? Hi! Every shilling that we spend on these tours helps the community. Quite often the lodges that we use are community driven. They're run by the community, they're staffed by the community. So everything we pay helps the community, helps them have a better life, helps their education.
After a hot, dusty and rather sweaty morning off-road, we were finally back on the tarmac and heading in search of something every adventure rider runs on: coffee. This hotel is a regular stop for us on the way down to Fort Portal, and for good reason. It's the perfect place to grab a cold drink, stretch the legs and recharge before getting back into the saddle. A quick pit stop and we're going to be back on the road, weaving our way through town. It's funny how quickly you get used to life in the bush. We'd spent the last couple of days surrounded by wildlife, dirt and open spaces, and suddenly There were cars, motorbikes, pedestrians, market stalls and traffic coming at us from every direction. Time to switch the riding brain back on again. Of course, even tour guides aren't immune to nature. At one point the group had to pull over after Mark suffered what can only be described as a T-Rex bite to the ear. He thinks it was a hornet that got him, but judging by the size of the lump, it was clearly trying to take the whole thing home as a souvenir. Thankfully Mark survived, with a little bit of profanity, and we were soon back on the road again.
I know it, that's why I had to stop.
It's still in your ear.
What, the sting is?
Yeah.
I'm going to get it out.
Oh.
Oh, bastard. It were in my helmet and it wasn't, that's why I had to stop.
As the day rolled on, there was a noticeable change in the air. The heat of the lowlands was slowly giving way to something much cooler, and with every mile, the landscape began to change around us. The road started to climb, the corners came thicker and faster, and for the real riders amongst us, this was exactly what we'd been waiting for. Gone were the long straight stretches, now it was all about flowing bends, sweeping curves, and that feeling you get when the road seems to have been designed with motorcycles in mind. But it wasn't just the roads that were changing. The wild bush and savannah we'd become so familiar with over the last few days gradually gave way to farmland, small villages, and fields stretching across the valleys. And before long, the hillsides were covered in vibrant green tea plantations, neatly carpeting the landscape as far as the eye could see. It's one of those things that makes Uganda such an incredible place to travel through. In the space of a few hours, it can feel like you've crossed into an entirely different country. As beautiful as the scenery was, there was still one final challenge standing between us and our destination. Ahead lay the climb of what the locals call the roof of the world, a twisting ribbon of road that snakes its way up into the mountains above Fort Portal. The views will be worth it. First though, we're gonna have to get there. Coming up on the next episode of The Pearl of Africa, Uganda.